60 started, as Bo told you, and be a big field next week. And as I said a moment ago, the Globetrotters next week on Wide World of Sports, along with NutraSweet, World Challenge of Champions from Barcelona. Okay, Brian Voss, very first shot is strike. Going against now, Mike Edwards.
Chris Edwards really has his back to the wall here. He's bowling very well. He's in top shape. He's going against Brian Voss, who really has an advantage when you have a tricky pair of lanes figured out. 199's been the average for the first 4 games. Let's see what Edwards can do.
And Mike faced with, well, it's a tough shot coming up, Bo.
Tough shot. 2 schools of thought as you look at Mike Edwards leaving the 2-8-10. The ball goes a little bit wide as he swings it inside out. Pretty good shot, but he doesn't know exactly where to play the lanes. The right-hand lane a little slicker than the left. He needs to slide the 2-pin into the 10, and hopefully the 10 or 2 will bounce back into the 8. Very tough shot.
It's an open for Mike Edwards of Tulsa. Last week in Las Vegas, he was 4th in the Showboat Invitational. Had a good year last year, 78,000. The year prior to that, 86,000. Just a tremendous bowler looking for that elusive first title.
And he's the type of player, when he gets it, he'll continue to win. It's not a matter of anything else than really peer pressure, and then it's self-pressure. And once he breaks through, you'll see him many times in the winner's circle. Today could be the day.
Five-pin on the left lane.
You just don't know what a terrible feeling that is when you come into a championship round in front of millions of people and you're lost. Mike Edwards had a half a dozen practice shots on the pair, but didn't get a positive ball reaction. He's been light on the right-hand lane and wildly left on lane 25.
Sticking perhaps at the line, Bo.
Well, Mike is just way off in the shot. You actually have 22 inches to make a single pin spare, and he missed by more than that, and that's a little bit inexcusable as he's off to a very shaky start against an experienced player. But I don't think Voss can really put him away. Voss has to forget about the opens that Edwards has had and just stay around the pocket and fill the frames.
And that one's out of control.
Well, for people at home who watch the Pro Bowlers Tour, they say to themselves, why can it be so tough when I bowl at my lanes at home and it's easy to get the ball in the pocket? Well, as you see the 1-2-8 down there, the lane condition is pretty equal gutter to gutter, Chris. Makes it tough.
We always have to point out that these are PBA conditions.
Well, there's about 18 to 20 pins difference between what we call house conditions and pro conditions.
Like there. Ron, will do that. And of course, there's so much pressure here. Nothing like bowling at home.
That's for sure. And the pros want the most demanding conditions. They don't really care about scores. Scores are relative, and we bowl for a living, and people at home really mostly, by and large, bowl for sport and enjoyment, and they don't want to be fighting the lanes all week long or every league session, so it's a good matchup, similar to a golf course. Make them tough for the pros and let the regular members score a pretty good round.
2-pin for Brian Voss, but both those same league bowlers really take it seriously. I have so many friends that, my goodness, you think the world was at stake.
Well, sure, everybody's competitive, and as you see how Brian Voss got to the top 24, 42, top 5, 24 game in the finals, 18 qualifying, 42 altogether as he converts this spare.
Now back, Mike Edwards. Pair of open frames, now shooting in the third. Using most of the approach. So, a
very serious Mike Edwards has a world of trouble here as he's got a very difficult washout split it. And what he needs to do is get the ball over in the 1-2 zone. The 2 pin will take out the 8, and the head pin has to take out the 6 and 10 pins. The best percentage is go to the left of the head pin. Some players try to go between the 1 and 3, but it's more difficult that way.
This is really tough. Back-to-back appearances on TV this year, but yet to win that title. What's he doing differently this year?
Well, I started practicing a lot more over the break. Kept myself focused for most of the time I was off, and came out with a good outlook this year. And I'm gonna keep it going. Hopefully, win a couple titles.
And this will be his toughest week ever of a telecast, Bo, because everything is happening to our friend Mike. Oh.
Another split with 2 schools of thought, and the best percentage is to get the ball over in the 4-7 zone and slide it over in the 6-9-10 zone. Here's what I recommend. Get it over here, slide the 4 and 7 pins over. Now watch this shot. The ball slides over. Now watch the action. The 4 takes out the 10, slides between the 9 and 6.
Well, he had a little wry smile, and tough for him, tough for his wife, Meg, and the audience. Here's Bo.
Thank you, Chris Schenkel and Mark there. Obviously, the lanes are very, very tough, and do you have any special strategy? You bowled a title one time before, and you didn't win, but they were high-scoring. This is a little bit different.
Yeah, they were a lot easier in Torrance than what they look like they're going to be today, so I'm just going to try to keep the ball in play and make some spares. We'll see what happens.
Well, I think less than 200 can win it, Mark. Good luck. Championship game coming up next. Chris?
All right, Mike Edwards, after the mark, a spare leaves a 4-pin on the left lane. For those of you that just joined us, he had 4 open frames. He's going against Brian Voss. Voss with 2 victories, first over Chris Warren, 221 to 188, and then a 1-pin victory over Bob Benoit, 194, 193. Oh, back-to-back marks for Mike Edwards, trailing by 46 pins, halfway point of this 3rd match. The winner will meet the Indiana bowler that Nelson just talked to, Mark Thayer.